My topic today is printing and PDFing using MicroStation Connect. I'm also going to use OpenRoads Designer. The printing functions are interchangeable between the two. I'm going to just show you where the information about the printing functions are by opening our website. If you are external, you can Google Oregon Engineering Application Support Team and get to our website. If you are internal and you open up your internet browser and you get to the dash, you can quickly click on the words tech and data. And then in the bottom right side under related resources is a link to the Engineering Applications Support Team page. The Connect resources is on the left-hand side. It's the fast lane. I'm going to be looking there, but I also wanted to point out there are some good pages still about ProjectWise, and I'm going to go in and use ProjectWise today, and I just want to point out this ProjectWise and V8i tips. There's information on that ProjectWise page about what I'm going to do today. I'm going to show you a little additional thing about how to import a small number of project files that all have reference attachments that were made external. And I'll show you how you can quickly import those, use a function in ProjectWise to relink up all your files. Then you can rename them using the naming tool. I'll show you some stuff about the naming tool. And I will also show you which folders they ultimately end up going in, and we'll verify that those links are still good. The main topic is about printing and PDFing. We will be using a print set in a little bit, and there's an important thing to remember, which is about the name, the document name in ProjectWise. The naming tool cannot do everything that MicroStation needs you to do to that name so that your print sets always function. So there's a little bit of help that the naming tool needs from you when you're naming your files. And that little bit of help is to just always end all of your document names, especially if they're DGN files, with a .dgn. I will show you that several times as we go through. I'm going to start with the user guides. The user guides are on the lower left corner of the Connect lane. I'm going to open up the MicroStation Connect user guide. There is a horizontal bar that says printing functions. This is in both of the user guides. In fact, because MicroStation is the platform product for OpenRoads Designer, you will see there are a number of chapters, let's call them chapters, that are the same in both of the user guides. I'll just switch here quickly to the OpenRoads user guide, and we'll see that very, very similar. So I've got printing functions, which is what we're going to talk about today. There are instructions for single sheet printing, for multi-sheet printing, there are instructions for that. And there's also information about the print styles, the pen tables, and the printer driver configuration files. These all work together to produce the print. And the main print that we're trying to produce here is a PDF that meets our contract plans specifications for the line work, how the line work appears on the page, is the text legible, what's the weight of all of those things, and it's black and white. So through combining these print styles, pen tables, and printer driver configuration files, we get the result that we want. I'm going to show you the list of print styles. It opens up a page that describes the print styles, how to open the apply print style from the MicroStation print dialog. We'll see that, and it describes the usage for all of the different print styles that we have. With Connect, there are, I'm going to do a quick count. It looks like there are 9 print styles. That's not a ton. And some of the print styles begin with the name design. And some of the print styles begin with the word sheet. That is because that's the type of model that your data is in. So if you were stacking a bunch of sheets in a design type model, maybe you're just working in the default model, which is a design type model, and you're placing your own border cells and you're stacking a bunch of sheets there. This is the way we have created plan sheets for a long time. Just stack them all in the default model. The design 11 by 17 print style is the print style that's going to find all of those borders and create print definitions for you. If you are using the newer workflows and actually creating sheet type models, you would use the sheet print style, and that will end up finding all of the sheets. It will ignore what's in a design type model and only find for you the sheets. So that's how it's used. I'm going to go ahead and just minimize that, and we're going to get into the product. And I'm going to use MicroStation. Let me use MicroStation. I'm going to launch it here from my desktop, and I'm going to navigate locally. I've got some copies of some files on my local computer, so I'm going to cancel out of my ProjectWise login dialog. When we get into ProjectWise, it'll be when we do the print organizer, and that'll be just in a couple of minutes. So I am going to I'm going to browse into my worksets folder. I've got an ODOT workset. That is the workset that's chosen, ODOT Connect with the ODOT workset. And in the DGN folder, I have a bunch of different folders, and one of them has today's date. I'm going to open up this OPNP.dgn, OPNP1. This was created, yes, with Open Roads Designer, but it can be opened with MicroStation. It's got sheet type models in it, which is the new way of doing things with the sheet workflows. And I have a model here that's the profile. It's my L-Profile 3. It's a sheet type model. How do I know it's a sheet type model? It's got a white background, and I have not changed the color of my background. So sheets are white. I can also open up the models dialog, and the models dialog will tell me in the type column with an icon what type of model it is. And what we can see is the default model has a colorful circle with a square icon. That's a design type model. The default 3D, that shows the three-dimensional view of those design type elements. The gray kind of triangular icon, that's a drawing type model. And of course, the sheet type model has an icon that looks like a white plan sheet. So that's another way you can tell which models are which type. If I open up my default model, I will probably see that there are no borders. So there's no information that I would actually want to send to a print. I might want to place a fence myself in this default model just to send a sketch. And you can absolutely do that. We can use our fence tools, and I can place a fence block right around my intersection, and I could say, I'm really interested in printing whatever's inside that fence. What I would do in that case is I would start up the printer. There is a quick access toolbar at the upper left corner, and there's a printer icon that starts the print dialog. Also, when you hover over it, you see you have a Control+P. Control-P on your keyboard will work. Also, on the backstage, there's a whole print section. I wanted to point this out, this backstage, because I do not recommend using the print to PDF document. Go ahead and use the regular printer if you're doing one-off printing, because we have a print style that will use the PDF driver and create PDFs, and it will give you rock solid scales. So we're not going to use the print to PDF shortcut off of the Backstage. So back in the design type model, I can fire up the printer. It's going to do a quick scan. It sees that there's an active fence, and you'll notice in the area, it's already set to that active fence. I can apply a print style. There's a great button, which is to apply a print style. And I could say, well, I could apply a print style. It's a design type model. And I just want to get this out maybe on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Quick sketch, just going to create a PDF for an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So I would use design 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to select that as the print style and click OK. Now I notice that my print preview all changed to black and white. That's because it applied a pen table. The pen tables are down at the bottom, and I can quickly detach that pen table just by clicking the X. It's also changed the printer driver configuration file. I like to let the printer do this automatically by applying a print style. It will automatically select the PDF printer driver configuration file. You normally don't have to do this. We haven't had to manually make these settings actually for quite a number of years. So I recommend choose a print style and then modify so that you get the look that you're looking for. I was just looking for a quick sketch that's in color, so I detached the pen table and I'm going to click the print to file, and it creates a PDF, which it will already name. I'm going to call this a color sketch and save it. It's going to construct it, create the file, and we'll see if it automatically opens it. Normally, it does not take this long to generate the print, so I like to blame Teams for everything. Okay, there it opened it. Yay! So I have the print, it's in color, and if I look at the properties of the drawing, the page size is actually the size of the fence. So in this case, I had a freehand fence. I did tell it to start with 8.5 by 11, and you can see that it's sent 8.5 by 8.75 because that was my freehand fence. Anyway, it'll fit on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, no problem. Just wanted to show you that. So that's a quick sketch. What about if I want to use regular MicroStation print and I don't want to do a fence, but I want to do one of those sheets? I'm going to change my model back to my profile. I'm going to use my view group manager and just pick that profile model from my list of where I've been. And I can fire up the printer. The printer works with the active model. So whatever model is active, that's what shows up in your preview for the printer. Not so with the print organizer. That's the big difference between print organizer and print. Print uses the active model. So I would have to change to each model that I want to create one print from. But I'm still going to apply a print style. So I'm going to use this Apply Print Style button and choose a print style based upon what type of model I'm in. I have a white background, so I'm going to choose one of the sheets. And I want an 11 by 17 inch result. This is a plan sheet, but it's not a cross-section sheet. The cross-sections sheet is going to do it's going to apply a different pen table. So sheet 11 by 17 is going to apply the pen table suitable for contract plans, which is going to be black and white. You can do a print preview or just go ahead and click print to file and it will create that print. This is my profile sheet. Let's call it profile sheet. As soon as it's created, it opens it up. that's in the printer driver configuration. I have it set to automatically open up print, and there we can see my dashed line for my ground line. That looks like a print. So those are pretty easy. That's MicroStation print. I want to get into showing you about the print organizer. Now, the print organizer requires another file. When we open up the print organizer without that other file loaded, I have an untitled folder over here. There's no folder structure. Some of you who have created prints for contract plans in the past will think, I've seen a folder structure here, and it's got folder names that are similar to the sections of the plan sets. Well, we have a template for the print organizer. We've been using this template for quite a number of years, and we updated it for Connect. And this template is provided for you in the seed folder location. It's a little bit difficult to get to it from MicroStation if you are trying to open it, because we can open the seed, we could say open it, but then we'd have to know where it lives on our computer. I don't have a location that points to where that seed file lives. So we could navigate into the V10 workspace, into Organization Civil, into the ODOT standards, and into the seed folder. And here you will see, because my filter is set to only show me PSETs, I see keynew.pset. So if you were external, wanting to not work in ProjectWise, but use the V10 resources, this is probably the easiest way to find it. It's with our other seed files. What other seed files are there? Well, I'm going to change my filter to all files. There's a bunch, but that's where seed 2D lives, seed 3D lives. There's keynew.pset. I'm going to go ahead and open this one. I'll open it, and I get at ODOT here, I get a little message, and it says it's write protected. Well, that's true. At ODOT, we write protect everything that's under the V10 folder. Yeah, these are standards. They shouldn't be changed, so they're write protected. What you can do at ODOT, if you are loading keynew.pset from the seed folder, is go ahead and load it, click yes, and then immediately save it as. So I'm going to use save as, and I'm going to put it, yes, in my project folders for today, and I'm going to give it a name, and it's not going to be keynew, it's going to be the key number, which is 5 nines and a dot. So that's how you create a print set template that you can fill and populate. You load the seed read only if you're not working in ProjectWise, and then you can populate this. Now I'm going to switch over to working inside of ProjectWise because I want to show you how to create this keynew.pset, create that new PSET file using the ProjectWise resources. I'm just going to minimize MicroStation, and I am going to use ProjectWise Explorer. Now, I happen to have ProjectWise Explorer already open on another screen. Make it a little bit smaller so we can see everything. And I have a shortcut. So I've got my ProjectWise locations. I have got a shortcut to the seed folder that's inside the CAD resources. I'm going to choose that shortcut here and wait for ProjectWise to navigate there. And what we see in ProjectWise, when Documents is expanded, up above the STIP projects, you'll see that there's a CAD resources, and there's a subfolder called Seed. That's where, yeah, all the templates are. That's where Seed 2D is, Seed 3D is. I want to create a new file based on keynew.pset, but I'm going to do it in my project folder. So I'm going to use key number 999, and right now I'm going to use the temp folder. So I went to the temp folder and I'm going to right click in white space and choose new document. And I'm going to choose an advanced wizard. Now I could also use the document menu in ProjectWise and choose new advanced wizard. I'm going to select with the selection button to choose a ProjectWise document as a template. We hit select and the dialog box opens up at the 0 temp folder. We do have to navigate. I click the down arrow to expose the whole tree. There's CAD resources at the top. I'm going to select it and double click on seed. And then I'm going to select keynew.pset as my template. Once you've selected a template one time, remember they start to appear in your most recently used templates, and you can reuse them just by selecting that radio button at the bottom. I'm going to give this a name. It's roadway, roadway, roadway. This is not a complete project print set. It's just a roadway print set. If you wanted a complete project print set, you would have to choose project documents. They are in a slightly different location if you were assembling all of the prints from all of the disciplines. That's where you will see your complete project PSET. Guess it doesn't really matter. I'll go ahead and choose the complete project PSET. Then we click in the document name field. Now I told you earlier, the naming tool can only do, well, it does about 90%, maybe a little more of the name, but there's a piece of the name that it leaves out, which is the extension. This is a .pset file. So I need to click in the document name field, type a .pset. Now I know I am creating this in the wrong folder. I'm creating it in 0 temp so that I can delete it later. So this is just an example, but normally we would create it in the number 2 plan sheets. I'm going to click the next button and the next. And when it's done, it has created my complete project PSET, and I'm actually going to use it then. I'm not going to try to create this when I have MicroStation or Open Roads Designer open. I create it in advance so that I can simply open it in the print organizer. I don't want to try to create it through the print organizer. That won't work out well. The naming tool doesn't work really well through the CAD products. So when we create new files, we create them just in ProjectWise. Now, these files that were here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete those. These are in a 0 temp folder. I'm going to delete those and show you how I could import, delete those all, some files. And I'm just going to show you a couple of tips. I happen to have the files that I'm going to be using today in my EngTips 2022-08-17 folder. You can see there is the PDF that I created earlier. I don't need those PDFs. I just need all of these files at the bottom. So all of these design files, I'm going to get the survey terrain, the cross-section base, all of them, and I'm going to drag and drop them into the 0 temp folder. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to be very intentional about the steps I take before I move these to their final destination. If I put them all in the 0 temp folder, I can quickly link up all of the reference attachments. Let me just drag them and drop them. I'm going to use no wizard. After I've connected all of the links up, the reference linkages, then I will use the naming tool and rename them. It doesn't take very long, so I wanted to show you this with a small project. All the files are in there. You might have noticed down along the bottom of the ProjectWise screen, there are some different tabs. Typically, the tab that I'm looking at is a document properties tab. It's at the bottom and it shows document properties. For today, I'm really interested in this tab that says Dependency Viewer. This will show me the relationship that ProjectWise knows about between these files. Now, I just dragged these in there. This is the first time ProjectWise has ever met these files. So as far as ProjectWise is concerned, there is no relationship. If I select the dependency viewer and I'm going to choose the OPNP file, which I know has reference attachments. And what we see down here, one little file. So as far as ProjectWise is aware, there's no other file, nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tool on the 0 temp folder. So on the left-hand side, I'm selecting the 0 temp folder. This tool is called, let's see if it's under the tools. It is. It's called Scan References and Link Sets. It's also on the right-click menu. So if I right-click, down near the bottom is Scan References and Link Sets. Well, that's exactly what I want to do. I'm going to run this tool. This first one just says basically click Next if you've selected the correct tool. I'm going to leave the Specify Scan options set to the default. It's going to scan for everything. I'm going to leave the Select Master Files and Folders set. Because I had the 0 temp folder, it's going to scan the entire 0 temp folder. It's going to look at every file. That's why it says star.star, every file inside there. Hit Next. I don't need to make any special master folder settings because all of my files that have a relationship with each other, they're all in that same folder. So I don't need to change any of these master folder settings. I'm going to disable priority search. I do not need priority search. Everything's right there. And then I just keep clicking Next until I can finally click the Scan button. ProjectWise, behind the scenes, opens up each one of these files, looks at the name of the reference and says, do I find that file name here in this folder? If so, it makes that relationship and gives that relationship a ProjectWise GUID, a globally unique identifier. Also, each one of these files has a globally unique identifier that was assigned when we dragged it in there. Now it's taking a little bit longer than normal. Okay, 32 seconds, that's not too bad. And my report here says, I searched for 30 references in 9 documents, and I was able to resolve 24 of them. Woo. Let's see how that changes the dependency viewer. I still have the OPNP 01 file selected, and all of a sudden, ProjectWise says, hey, you have a relationship with these other 4 files, and I know about it, and I'm going to tell the whole world. It's got rock solid, globally unique identifiers, rock solid ProjectWise GUIDs, which means I can now move these files or rename these files and they will stay connected. It's pretty cool. Now, what I want to do is rename these really quickly. I'm going to start with the terrain. What you would do to rename these is you would open up the properties and go to the attributes tab. Run the naming tool. So I'm going to choose survey here. And this is terrain, ORD, it's at the bottom. Terrain base file, there it is. Click in the document name field. Of course, it's going to tell me it belongs in a different folder. I know that. I want to rename it before I move it to the correct folder. So I'm going to rename it first. And I also want to do a special thing. I want to make sure it's got that .dgn at the end of the document name. The reason I'm so particular about those .dgns at the end is because of Print Organizer. I'm going to get there. Print Organizer records the document name. If we don't put the .dgn at the end, it means the print set is no longer portable And if you had your server migrated like we did last week, your print set will probably not work and you'll need to recreate it. So we're going to make this rock solid. I'm also going to use a naming convention for these files, and I'm going to start with the number 5. So this is going to be ebase51.dgn, and I'm going to click Save. Now, I'm going to leave the Properties dialog open and just simply select the right-of-way base, and then I can describe the right-of-way base. I don't have to keep opening and closing this Properties dialog. Oh, the right-of-way base is, there it is. It's at the top. Again, I'm going to rename this to a number that starts with 5. It's going to be 51.dgn, and then I'll click Save. Then I'm going to click my cross-section base. This is a roadway document. It's an ORD created file, so it's going to be at the bottom of the list, and this is my cross-sections base file. And I click in the name. I'm going to change that number to a 51 and make sure I've got the .dgn, and then I click Save, and I can move on. I'm going to do the OPNP one. I'm going to skip the PL one. There wasn't anything in there. I didn't even need to drag it in. So here's the OPNP file. It's down at the bottom, the ORD generated sheet. I call this a 51.dgn. Hit Save. And I've got the geometry base to do. I saved just a little bit of time by not closing this properties dialog and not reopening it. Just a little bit of time is saved. This is a geometry base file. And this was starting out as a geometry base 02. So I'm going to put the 5 in there and call it a 52. It's a 52.dgn. I don't know what I did with number 1, but it's not there. Now I'm going to select the corridor base 02. And I wanted to show you one more thing that's interesting about files of the same ilk, the same type. I've got 2 corridor files. I don't actually have to run the full naming tool on multiple corridor files. I just have to run it on one of them, and I can copy those attributes and paste them. So this is a corridor base file. This one is going to be numbered 52.dgn, and I'm going to hit Save. Now, I can change to 50, to number 1, but I don't need to run the naming tool. This is something that not a lot of people know about. You can actually copy the attributes that are displayed on the Attributes tab. Pretty cool. I'm going to right-click on Corridor Base 52. Down at the very bottom, there's an Attributes group. And you'll notice there's a Copy Attributes, and there's also a Paste. I'm going to choose Copy Attributes. That copies those to the clipboard. And I'm going to right-click on Corridor Base 01. Go down to Attributes, and I'm going to click Paste Attributes. You guys keep your eyes on the Properties tab. You're going to see it change. I want to overwrite the existing ones, and it changed it to roadway, roadway, roadway. It's a corridor base. It's base 52, but this one isn't supposed to be base 52. This one's supposed to be base 51. I changed the 2 to a 1 and click Save. That's the fastest way. All right. Now, I'm going to open up this file, the OPNP file. It was the same file that we printed from before. Let me open with. Don't know why I can't find open with. Go ahead and open up this with Open Roads Designer. Hopefully it won't take too long. This is a copy of the one that I had opened before. When I imported it into ProjectWise, it made a copy. So no conflict there. And as soon as it gets open, I'm going to show you that the print organizer is at the same location on the quick access toolbar in Open Roads Designer as it is in MicroStation Connect. We have that same quick access toolbar. You can hit the print icon. You can hit the print organizer. It's using the same print styles And the reason for that is because MicroStation Connect is the platform for Open Roads Designer. So they're all the same. So they're really all using the same resource files. Almost there. There we go. Come on. Wait just a moment. As soon as I have an element selection tool here, I might be able to adjust this. Very close. Just takes it a little, well, someday. All right. It is now running. Okay, at the top, I see the print organizer icon and the quick access tool and the print icon. They work the same way. I'm going to launch the print organizer icon. Now, print organizer has its best use for assembling print definitions. It can do it from different files. So let's see how we use that. Let's first load the complete project print set. So I'm going to use File Open, and it's going to allow me to browse. And I'm in the 0 temp folder, and I can see there's the key number with the 5 nines that I created. I'm going to open that one. And it's just a bunch of empty folders. There are no print definitions. How do I know there's no print definitions? If I choose my view to view all print definitions, what I get is a view that looks very similar to a file explorer, where I have the folders on the left and I have the details of the folders on the right. So if I select any folder, I see the contents. There are no print definitions in here. So we can add print definitions. They will be added to the active folder. I'm going to leave the active folder set to the top level folder while I add in some stuff. We're going to use the file. Couple ways to add. We can either add other files or we can add the active file. There's add files or add active file. Let's add the active file to the print set. I need to choose a print style. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. It hasn't changed in a number of years. When this Create Print Definitions dialog pops open, your file, the active file, is already added. I could add more if I wanted to. Maybe I missed and I meant to add a whole bunch of files. Well, I could add another file just by clicking the add button. I could say, give me that cross-section base file too, and go ahead and click OK. And I will see both the OPNP file and the cross-section base file, which means both of those will be looked at. And not just the active model either. Every model will be looked at in the same fashion. So I'm going to use the print style name, and I'm going to choose the appropriate print style for my files. The OPNP file has got sheet models in it, so I'm going to choose sheet 11 by 17. If I only had the cross-section file, I would probably choose sheet cross-sections. Actually, I'm going to remove the cross-section file because I want to use a different print style when I load up the cross-sections. So I just remove those. We'll apply sheet 11 by 17. That's the appropriate one for an OPNP file. When I choose that and click OK, that entire file is scanned behind the scenes. It's cracked open that file and it's looking through all the models and it's looking for sheet models, and it's going to apply that print style and create a print definition for each sheet model that it finds. It's going to name them according to the name of the model. That's the best naming that we have right now. So you might need to, after these print definitions are created, you might need to edit the name of the print definition. That's easy to do. You can also move them to the appropriate folder. There we've got L plan sheet 1, 2, 3, and I've also got 3 profiles. So I am not somebody who assembles these, but I would say typically you would want maybe the first plan sheet for your main line to be in C, and then you'd want your profile. So if we look at the C, oh, that profile didn't go in there. I always have trouble with these things. Okay, profile 1. Go in. Nope. I always have trouble getting these into the right folders. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. Yeah, I don't usually do it that way. So probably going to be changing my view so that we view the folders on the right-hand side. I've had better luck with dragging from the left and putting it into the right. So we got the profile sheet on the left. Nope, still can't do it to the right. All right, if there's anybody who can tell me how to control this, they've got experience with this, that'd be great. It's not really important that we get this. It's just always nice to have these things. Let's see, plan 2. Can't, there I can highlight. B, I should be able to highlight. Awesome. I think I just have to be very careful with how I am selecting these and make sure that the whole folder name is highlighted instead of a line above or below. And then when we open up that folder, we can change the order of these things. There are ordering buttons at the top, and these orders can be changed, and the names can be changed as well. You can also get a preview. There's a preview button, and you can have it generate a preview of the entire folder, and it will show you what your graphics are. And in that way, if you have the sheet number actually showing up, you can actually modify the name of the sheet. Yeah, thank you, Tracy. Click on the R to Z folder and move from right to left. Right to left. I like working in the right side. Okay, well, click on the R to Z folder, move from right to left. Okay. Well, maybe it moved from left to right. Well, it can't move from left to right. Wow, interesting. I do like this view all print definitions, and maybe that's a good way to move from right to left, because let's say I had one of these sheets and I wanted to move it into the R to Z folder. I should be able to grab it on the right-hand side and drag it to the left there. I'm going to say that's what Tracy meant, going from right to left. So I could move from the details on the right into the left. Okay, now that we've figured that out, the print organizer is integrated very highly with ProjectWise. When you make changes here to this print organizer and hit save, you'll find that those changes are actually updated in the ProjectWise Explorer. There's no need to separately update the server copy. I'll go ahead and hit save. I'll click OK. It's actually updating the server copy right now. And when we close this print organizer, it's not going to ask me to check the file in. It automatically checks the file in. So it won't be asking to do a lot of things. So when the file is open in the print organizer, it will be checked out automatically. A save will update it. And then when you close the print organizer, it will be checked in. Now we had those, just open the print organizer again, and we will load the file from our history. And I think I saw when I did the print preview that the pen table was applied and everything's black and white. And so that pen table is part of the properties of the print definition, and they can be changed after the fact. They can totally be changed after the fact. Come on, I'm just waiting for it to populate my graphics. tried to change the size of the window while it was generating preview graphics. I forgot that it takes it twice as long when you do that. It's kind of a little punishment for trying to update the window. Any year. There. Okay, black and white. All black and white. Perfect. Now, what if we wanted to add those cross sections? I don't have a folder for the cross sections, but that doesn't mean I can't make one. I'm going to add a folder to the set. Let's right click. I'm just going to call it cross sections, and it's active. If I choose to add files to the set and I add that cross section file, it's cross section base 51, and choose a print style, I would this time choose the cross-section print style because this will apply a different pen table. The pen table is applied at the time that the print definitions are created. Doesn't mean you can't change them later, but it's a lot easier if you're mixing. Maybe you've got ADA curb ramps and you've got regular roadway construction sheets. I would add those separately because they use a different pen table. Well, if I had a print style that had the ADA ones, I'd have to change the ADA ones after I got them added. Here's how I'd add the cross-section. It will scan that cross-section file, and it will apply the cross-section. It's the eBids cross-section pen table, so that these will be actually in color. They can be part of the same print set. It's not a problem. And it's loading all the models, and there they are. I'm going to just scroll to the right. If I go far enough to the right, I see a column that tells me what pen table was applied. It's very easy to change the pen table as well. Let's say, for example, that I had put in couple of these sheets and they were actually ADA ramps. Let me take this plan sheet number 3. It's really an ADA ramp, so it belongs in the B group. I'm dragging it from right to left. I have B highlighted. I drop it. Now I've got this print definition, but it's using the wrong pen table. This print definition is using plans.tbl. There is a properties button, or you can right click and choose properties, and that will show you the pen table at the bottom. And you can do this on a group also. You can make a selection set of a group. The ... that more button, that allows you to browse and select a different pen table. Where do the pen table live? You don't need to worry about that. MicroStation and Open Roads Designer know where they live. Unfortunately, they do not live in ProjectWise. So when the ProjectWise dialog opens up, you know it because it's kind of big and clunky. Hit the cancel button. That gets you out to the Windows dialog, and it opens up right to the pen tables folder where you can select your curb ramp detail pen table, which operates just a little bit differently. And when you click OK, it saves that in print definition. Dun, da, 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 and you can save your file, and that will add everything that we've added. All my cross-section sheets will be added to that same print set. Now, notice I still have the print organizer open, and the print set is still checked out. As soon as I close the print organizer, it's going to check it in automatically. I won't be asked. It checked it in for me. So that's using print organizer. Any questions or comments on the printing or ProjectWise?
Hi there. My name is Angie. I work with a Mario Design in Beaverton, and I'm in the survey department. So my question is about roll maps. For that, would we choose? I'm thinking maybe the 18 by 24. What is it? Print style might have the pen table that we need, and then I would maybe just need to change this sheet size in order to get the roll map size of a sheet?
Yeah, the roll maps are done a little bit differently. Let me see if I've still got. I had a roll map thing, and I don't think I've got it on the Connect stuff, but I do have it on the V8i stuff. So let me see if I see it. And what I can always do is I can always send that out with the next email, the roll plots. I think your suggestion to go ahead and use a print style and then change the size of the sheet, it would work. The thing is that the roll plots they're different sizes. Oh, here we go. So I am looking at the MicroStation V8 ISS4 tips, and the printing is very similar. In there is I just lost it. Okay, so here it is. Creating a PDF for a 24-inch or 36-inch wide roll plotter. So I have a PDF that says what to do. Let's see what it says. Place your fence, set up the print dialog, and here I've got the actual steps. So I don't have you using a print style. Go ahead and select your print driver. It's listed here. It's the O.Sizes PDF. That's the same exact print driver in Connect. So I would do it this same way. So even though this information is on the MicroStation V8 ISS4 tips, these are still appropriate for the roll plotters because those resources are the same. So
Hey,
go ahead
Lenny,
and use this PDF. Yeah.
you do have those in the Connect also, Connect
Oh,
drawing
thank you.
workflows.
Didn't know if I did. Let's see. Thanks, Michael.
No problem.
There's so much stuff here. It's like, how do I know what's
Yeah.
here? Let's see if it finds something for the word roll. Here we go. Creating PDFs for printing to roll plotters. All right. So here's the Connect stuff. What do I say? Looks pretty similar. I have a picture that shows you instead of the list. Pretty similar. The nice thing about the PDF driver that I've found, especially with the roll plots, is it will trim. So even though we're choosing this maximum 200 by 200 size of a PDF, it will trim it to whatever the fence is. You are limited to 200 inches long, but it will trim that, and it'll trim it just the same way it's showing in the preview. So it's kind of nice. Any other questions?
Thank you for that. I do have a piggyback question.
Sure.
On that. We very recently had a ginormous job which had many, many sheets in our roll maps. Is it possible to create a print set with different size for roll maps?
It is possible to create a print set for a roll map. It's very possible. In the 2 minutes that we have left, what I would do is I would probably go into the manually specified options. And what would be best is if you knew the level and the color of your outermost border, your clipping shape, what you want to use, and specify that in your manually specified options. I'm going to add the active file to the set just so that I can get to this manually specified options button. This is how I created these print styles that look. You will see that there are ways to create a fence. I would use define from shape. You can actually specify which types of models you want to look in and just say, yeah, look in everything, and define it from a shape where you would specify the level and maybe the color of what you're going to use for your clipping shape. And I would choose create one print definition for each matching shape. It's at the bottom so that you don't just get one, you get 3 or 5. And you can specify a level by double clicking in the white area. when you double click. Come on, baby, double click. Well, maybe just a slow click and you can specify your level. You'd have to type it. So be careful, make sure that it's, a level that you have. I know I have a default level. And then you can input the color, maybe you're using yellow. When you click OK, it will record that in the define from shape, and you click OK again, it will search all models for those shapes that are on that level with that color, and it will provide you a print definition for each one. You can specify at the same time which pen table to apply. I would not adjust the paper size though, but you can specify which pen table to apply at the same time manually, like the right-of-way pen table. All right. Thanks for coming today.